TV.
What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, aka Darth Apocalypse. So I'll go ahead and knock out some more of these video requests, these what if hypotheticals. So this is also from Dorian. I've got a lot of video requests, man. Like and this one is who would win between the 2002 Sacramento Kings and the 2004 Pistons. Okay? And of course, many people feel like the 2002 Kings were the rightful NBA champions that year. But many people feel like, they were robbed in the West Conference Finals by the NBA versus the Lakers, in particular that Game 6. The 2004 Pistons, who were a team that most people, including myself, felt that they stood no chance against that Lakers squad, but they went out there and did what they had to do. And they dominated that Lakers team 4-1, win the NBA championship. Me personally, when it comes to this particular series, I think that the Pistons will prove the adage true that defense wins championships. I think they win this series in 6. And one of the things that helps the Pistons is that unlike with the Lakers and unlike with a lot of teams that they play against, the pick and roll would not be as effective when you have a mobile defensive anchor like Ben Wallace. Shaq was very susceptible to the pick and roll. We know that with the Kings. We know that obviously with the Utah Jazz. That's not going to be the case with Ben Wallace. Also, when you look at the matchups between these two teams, there aren't any real matchup advantages that the Kings can exploit against the Pistons that I can think of. Chauncey Billups versus Mike Bibby, I would give the edge to Chauncey Billups. I think most of us would. I'll get to that in a moment. Rip Hamilton, of course, the shooting guard for the Pistons. For the Kings, I believe their shooting guard was, I think it was, what's his name? Doug Christie. And Doug was a decent defender. He was a good defender, but not an all-time elite defender. And I think Rip Hamilton would still win that matchup. Contrary to popular opinion, though, Rip was not their best offensive player, although he generally led them in scoring average, the Pistons. But he would win that matchup, I think. Tayshaun versus either Hedo Turkoglu or Peja Stojakovic. Now, this is the key matchup here. If Tayshaun Prince could stymie Kobe Bryant into the performance that he had in those finals, I don't see how that version of Tayshaun has any problems with Peja Stojakovic or Hedo, especially Peja. I think Peja was the one that got the most minutes at that time. I don't see him having problems with slowing him down. And at power forward, you do have Chris Webber in his prime. And Chris is the only reason why I really give them 2 wins. I think Chris will have 2 strong games. I think Chris is going to have like a 30-point, 15 rebound, 6 or 7 assist game. And I think he'll have like a 29-point, 18 rebound. Well, I'm going to be overdoing the rebounds a little bit. 29 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists night. But I think he's going to also have a bunch of subpar games. Rasheed Wallace is going to hold his own. and the physicality of the Detroit Pistons and their all-time great defense nullifies the offense of the Sacramento Kings, in my opinion. Okay. By the way, this has been sticking in my craw for a minute, man. I used the word audacious in my last video. I didn't mean it uh, in a sense that I'm trying to minimize what Sydney Starr was doing or what she was accused of doing. I was using it more in the angle of the extraordinary, reckless, and risky activity that this person allegedly was involved in. Although, it's meant more in a comical sense, me using that term, but I know that's not the term you normally use for people like that, or what people that are using that or engage that behavior. But that's more in the realm of why I use that word. It's just been sticking in my craw because somebody said, "Oh, you used that word incorrectly. Do you know what you're doing?" It just bothers me as a wordsmith when people are quick to say you don't know what you're saying or you're not using words correctly when they don't understand like why I use the word I use or the phrase I use. You know, I don't know. It just pissed me off for some reason. I don't know why I did, but it just pissed me off. But getting back to this, the Pistons had an underrated bench. Not all time great, but underrated. The Kings had a good bench, but some of the players on that squad, on the bench, they grew better over time. Like Hito Turkoglu, he reached his prime with the Orlando Magic. Gerald Wallace, he reached his prime a lot later and expanded his game. Bobby Jackson was a beast though, and that's another reason why I gave them like 1 or 2 games is because of Bobby Jackson. I believe he was the 6th man of the year in 2002. But I just think that all the things I mentioned, plus Larry Brown being the head coach of that squad, and that Portland team, I think their head coach was, was it Rick Adelman? Rick Adelman? Who was the head coach of that team? Yeah, Rick Adelman. Rick Adelman's a really good coach, but Larry Brown, although sometimes he can be a little stubborn with some of his decisions, he's one of the greatest X's and O's coaches of all time. I'll give the Pistons the nod in this one, man. I give the Pistons the nod because if the 2004 Pistons can knock off that Lakers squad with the ease that they did, I know it's not the same as the 2002 Lakers, but still, I don't see why they would struggle with the Kings team, especially considering that Kings team wasn't the most elite defensive team in the league. And I just think matchup-wise, that Pistons team would give them a lot of problems. But anyway, that's just my take on that, man. So what you guys think?